Once he's completely healthy, because let's make a distinction here between being a guy being ready to play, available to play, and him being 100% and being healthy. I don't think with anybody, anytime you have a shoulder surgery and you're missing two of them, and you're missing this extended period of time, that you're completely healthy when you first come back. But let's take the factors into account. They have the second strength of schedule in the NBA so far. They've lost to Phoenix and Milwaukee, two of the better teams in the league. And this is a team that just got put together with the load management thing, Nick, that you bring up with Kawhi Leonard all the time. So from basically a continuity standpoint, they haven't begun to hit their stride yet as far as finding themselves and finding out who they are. Defensively, I think it's going to come. But when you have Kawhi Leonard being a master playmaker at this stage, and then you add in a guy like Paul George who can get you 4 or 5 assists a game, create his own shots, and be careful with the ball, I think that's going to put them a leg up ahead of anybody in the league. And I'll grant you that the Lakers are playing extremely well right now, especially from the levels of injuries that they've had to deal with and the newness of LeBron playing point guard. But I would say right now, for what the potential is and what this team could be defensively, I don't think you can say that there's a better team on paper or practically than the Clippers.
All right, just first quickly, before I directly answer the question, I do want to say I think it is great news for the Clippers that Paul George is already going to be back. I know this was the timeline they laid out.
Yep.
I was skeptical of it. You have double shoulder surgery the offseason, and they say at mid-November. I would not have at all been shocked if that turned into mid-December. One of the reasons that I thought the Clippers had a real opportunity, and still do actually, but a real possibility of being in that 4-5 matchup was because I thought Paul George was going to miss 20 games. Missing 10 instead of 20 is great for them, even if it takes him a while to become the fully actualized Paul George, which I agree with. To your point, though, about your question, are they the best team in the NBA? If they are going to be, it is all about projection. Because through 1/8 of the season, they have not been anywhere close to it. Through 1/8 of the season, they have the number 8 offense. This amazing defensive team has the number 20 defense, and there are 10 teams in the league with the same or better record than the Clippers. Now, record-wise, everyone is so bunched up that one loss or one win can determine that immense amount. And I don't know that I agree with you on the continuity part of it, because this is the same team as last season, minus Danilo Gallinari and SGA, the players you traded for Paul George, plus the mild offseason acquisition of Mo Harkless was the biggest one, or JaMychal Green, was the biggest one, aside from, of course, these two guys. But, I mean, you look at Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, Zubats was acquired midseason, Patrick Beverley, those are guys that they had already. So I just haven't yet seen it with the Clippers. Now, they haven't been fully formed, but I also do wonder how much redundancy there is with Kawhi and Paul George, and whether or not that fixes what is, to me, their biggest weaknesses on the team, which is lack of a rim defender. Very few defenses in NBA history have been top 3 defenses in the league without a rim protector, and lack of point guard and lack of backcourt defenders. Like, you have maybe the two best wing defenders in basketball, but the other pieces on the chessboard are easily knocked over. So I don't think they're going to be the best team in the NBA. We both know thus far to this point in the season they have been far from it. And I really, really like Paul George, but I think I feel the team is more oddly built than most people feel, even though you have 2 of the best 12 guys in basketball.
Wait, did you just say that, from a perimeter defense standpoint, that you have questions? Have you ever heard of a pit dog named Pat Beverly? Did you miss that?
Okay, so my apologies. So the backcourt for the Clippers, what you have is you're going to have Beverly and Lou Williams, both of whom are elite at one specific thing, right? Lou Williams is an all-offensive player, and Patrick Beverly is an all-defensive player. Those 2 guys are going to be there in your key moments, which means to me you can pick on either one of them depending on which side of the court you're on, right? Like, if you're on the offensive end, you go with Lou, and if you're on the defensive end, you shade off Beverly to help out on one of these other 2 guys, and neither one of those guys, and neither Kawhi nor Paul George, fix the problem of who is their rim defender. Like Philly, who is the defense that I thought they would be, even if they're underachieving, we know they have a rim protector. Lakers have too many rim protectors. The Bucks have rim protectors. The best defenses that have actually played like the best defenses have that. The Clippers do not.
I would agree with you if the game were being played 15 feet and in now. The game is being played 15 feet and out from a rim protection standpoint. You don't have to worry about that if you can't get to the rim. If Kawhi and Paul George are my defenders, I'm not worried about somebody being at the rim because they're not getting there. Pat Beverly is not allowing them to get there. And because they've established a style of play, they'll get more leeway with the referees. They'll get more leeway than the other teams as the season goes on. I'm not worried about what they look like right now because, like you said, this is a marathon. This is an 82-game situation. Kawhi Leonard is going to be building up to the player that he's going to be. He's only playing 30 minutes a night compared to maybe the 30 to 35 that he's going to play towards the end of the season. And what better number 2 could there be than Paul George? A talent. No. From a number 1 standpoint, he's a talent as a number 1, but he's much more comfortable being a number 2. We saw that in his days in Indiana. And to be able to coexist with Russell Westbrook for those years in Oklahoma City and to do what he did without much of a problem, to me that says he's much more comfortable being in the shadows of a better player compared to maybe a team that you're going to say is the best team, L.A., where we have to figure out how AD and LeBron coexist with those on-off numbers not looking so great right now.
Okay, but so the Paul George point, I agree with you that he is an overqualified Robin and an underqualified Batman, and so being in the Robin role is ideal for him. It is just people talked about Kawhi and Paul George and the fit being so great because they're so similar. That is not how I look at basketball. I think what you want is your best guys to do very different things. It's why the fit of Anthony Davis and LeBron makes so much sense. It's honestly why the fit of Steph and Klay made so much sense. Even though they were similar in shooting, on the defensive end, Klay could cover up so many of Steph's deficiencies. It's why I thought Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid would make so much sense. Is I thought Ben Simmons was going to be able to do a lot of the things he has been proven unable.
Can't shoot, won't shoot?
Can't shoot, won't shoot, okay, and cool. Is not great at running an offense. The things I thought he would be awesome at. He's an overqualified big man, but that's a separate discussion. And you just assigned something to Kawhi Leonard that I find very interesting. He's going to all of a sudden play big minutes. That'd be a first. I mean, I'm excited to see it. Last year was the most minutes per game he's ever played in his career. It was 34. This is a guy who twice in his career has played more than 66 games in a season. Like, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see this heavy minutes, heavy usage Kawhi Leonard, who at this point is the greatest part-time basketball player I've ever seen. But a full-time player is going to be necessary for them to be the team you're talking about.
Is there less pressure for him, too, if you get a healthy Paul George back, a successful Paul George? Is load management not suddenly the headline coming out of every single Clippers game if you get healthy Paul George back?
Here, that's that positional duplication thing that Nick is saying is a bad thing. That's why I think it's a good thing to where, all right, if we're able to survive without Kawhi Leonard and without Paul George, and we plug Paul George into these number 1 nights where he can be able to take on the scoring load and take on that number 1 defensive matchup, and basically not even a low matchup standpoint, you can rest Kawhi Leonard during games, almost in a similar way of, let's say he said positional duplication, right? The best duo that I've seen short of Shaq and Kobe in like 2000, 2001, was kind of Mike and Scottie, right? And they were 2 wings who could defend, who could score, who could do so many different things similarly. And Nick says that there's positional duplication.
They were drastically different players.
Yes, they were drastically different players, but they could be interchangeable and play similar roles. No, not Scottie. Scottie, I'm not a fan of Scottie Pippen. He was not going to score 40 on a given night like Michael. But you had the best 2 perimeter defenders in basketball who could shut down perimeter wings at any given notice.
No doubt
when it wasn't even a wing game at that point, and it's a wing game now.
Absolutely, and I know that people are calling Kawhi Jordan because of the mid-range jump shot. But listen, he is without question one of the 5 best players in basketball. He's sensational. But Jordan wasn't playing no 30 minutes a night, and he wasn't playing no 60 games a year. He was playing 38 minutes a night, and he was playing 80 games a year. And this idea, again, let me see it. Like, let me ask you this. As we sit here, 7:30 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday, whatever day it is, do you think Kawhi Leonard's going to play today and tomorrow? Do you?
Put it like this. No, but does it matter?
Yeah, it does matter.
How does it matter,
Because with a loss, they're the 7th seed.
And what's today's date, Nick? Okay. It is November 13th.
And once March rolls around, they roll off your losses like bad grades on the school card. 3 lowest grades go away from the Russian judge.
You should know all about that, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's just see. I'm excited to watch Kawhi Leonard play basketball at least one night this week.
Back-to-back is what, tonight and tomorrow night?
Tonight and tomorrow. So my guess is maybe he plays tonight. It's on national TV. Not tomorrow.
Or tomorrow
so
with
then we
Paul
gotta wait for Paul George. I don't know.
They have
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.